week in the next episode. In the meantime, we're going to welcome another guest. We're going to go back from Lebanon all the way to Canada to have with us today a person who has a lot of hunger and thirst to his culture, to his heritage. I'm not going to introduce much about him. Let me tell you only that his name is Nehmetallah, author of Finding Susan from Detroit, from Tulsa to Detroit. We're going to know more about that. But in the meantime, let's say good morning to him from Canada. Welcome and thank you for being with us, Mr. Nehmetallah.
Thank you for having me on this show.
Thank you, Jim. And of course, it's very exciting to know more about the book you wrote and being an author. But first of all, tell us more about yourself, your name, and more information about you.
Well, my name is Nehmetallah. I was born in Tirzah, Lebanon. I am the fourth of 8 children. While I do that, I'm going to share my screen and you'll be able to see, okay, a little different than yesterday, but we'll do it.
Yeah.
Share, and hopefully you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Yeah, we are seeing it. Yeah, go ahead.
So this is Tirzah, Lebanon, and I'm, like I said, I'm the fourth of 8 children. There's a passport photo of us when we came to Canada in 1967. After my father went to find work and a better life for his family 2 years earlier, I was 6 years old when we left. I've been fortunate enough to be able to return to Lebanon twice now and hope to bring my family, my entire family and grandchildren in the future. I was born a Maronite. I practice the faith every day. I now live in Canada with my close and extended family. I worked in architecture, engineering, and I'm a secondary school teacher. But when I'm not spending time with my grandchildren, my favorite hobby, I conduct genealogical research on our ancestors who came from Lebanon.
We're seeing these photos, very old photos, but very impressive. And I'm sure each one in this photo has a history. And this history, of course, you will try with your research to conduct this beautiful research to know more about this history. And first of all, to know these generations. And it's not easy to put the family tree that you did in this book. Tell us about this research. How did you conduct it and how did it start?
Well, in 2005, my youngest child was required to make a family tree for his grade 5 class. I was excited to help him document, his family tree. On completion, though, he had enough. But my curiosity
wanted
wanted
to interrupt you. If you take away the photo, we have to see you. Okay.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. I'm sharing the screen for a few seconds, but you have to, when you speak, we have to see you. Yeah. Go ahead.
I understand. Thank you. So on completion, I said he had enough, but my curiosity wanted more. I asked my living ancestors and all known relatives to help me with my research. My mother did not know her great-grandmother, Susan, as she left my grandmother when, my grandfather was a little boy. She went to America. So I set out to find Susan, and 15 years later, I found her. And all of the inhabitants from the village of Tirzah, of course, culminated in a 415-page book that I proudly show on my coffee table every day. But this whole process has given me the opportunity to know more about my parents and their ancestors and the lives that they lived. For example, the picture includes my father. If I can, I just want to share the screen again.
Yeah, you can share quickly, though. Go ahead.
Okay. No problem. Okay, right there. And share. And I just wanted to show the picture of my father, which, he came to this country with this, for example, includes my father there, fourth from the left, and was something that I discovered from someone I met through my research from Detroit.
Yeah.
And just to move on, this next picture is of a Tirzah resident leaving from the airport in Beirut. Another picture I found, it was customary for the men in the village to drive him to the airport or anyone that was leaving and seeing him off, and they all went for a ride to the airport. But after this gentleman went to West Virginia, He came back after a couple of years. Then I discovered a club in Tirzah, for Tirzah residents in Detroit, which went back to 1939 and 1943, showing these two pictures of the residents from Tirzah, which I was amazed at the number of residents. And I found my great aunt who recognized each and every one of these people. She was 97 at the time. She just died a year ago at 103. So she helped out a lot. But when I traveled back to Lebanon in 2010 and 2014, I instantly remembered all of the days that I lived in a two-room house on a stone floor. I went back, I saw everything. I was happy with what I saw. But the thing I remember the most is when we sat on the stone floor while my father was in Canada. My mother would be in the center. We'd be huddled around her, and we'd be praying. Abena Sami Labas. So I
Yes,
still know
if
the
you
prayers
can move
today,
the
and after
photos
60
more
years.
forward, or we can show them later. We're
Yeah.
back to you. So, Jim, this is the book that you wrote. You gave an inspiration, you gave hope to all the people that really are searching hard to find their heritage, to find their roots, to find the people that they love. They came first here and they go in vain because they don't know how to search, how to find. Well, tell us about this book exactly. How did you find the resources? How did you find the people that helped you finding Susan? So tell us more about the book in depth. You can show photos, but try to be quick in showing them.
Sure. I think the best thing to do is to tell people that if you're looking for your heritage, if there's someone like me around, that's great. I can help. But if you're doing it on your own, you want to definitely go back to Lebanon. You want to go visit the church that is in your village. That way you can get some information on ancestors. But for me, it was visiting churches in Lebanon and people all over the world. I enjoy traveling and meeting these people. Another place is Ancestry and other genealogical sites where you can find records, especially in Canada, United States, and all of Europe. It's hard to get them from Lebanon, so that's why I went to visit the churches. Another way of doing it is to be on social media with Facebook and other sites where you can interact with people that are from your village. I've had video chats with people all around the world. I've been interviewing people, especially my good friend Hannah Tanous, who has spent countless hours translating documents for me and advising me on culture, religion, and history that I learned from him, that I placed in the book. Other people, around the world who contribute. There's many of them. Example: John Obaid, Sarkis Mohammed, and countless others mentioned in the book. And there's too many to mention. They all helped me in finding my roots and doing all this.
We're going to translate a little bit in Arabic, Jim. اخوتي المشاهدين الكرام، اكيد نحن معنا استاذ جيم نعمت الله من كندا. هو ولد بكندا وكتب كتاب يلاقي سوزن يلي جاي من تورزا على ديترويت. عفوا، هو ولد بتورزا ولكن اجى على كندا صغير، واكيد بوجوده بكندا كتب هالكتاب يلي فعلا معبر. هو كاتب، واكيد هالكتاب كتير بياخد شغل. بنفكر انه هو سهل ولكن صعب كتير، لانه عم نجمع امور يمكن منا موجوده، بدنا نجرب نبحث كتير عنها. كنا عم نحكي مع دكتور سامي عون قبل، وعرفنا قد ايه الانخراط بالمجتمع العلماني اوقات بيخسرنا من الثقافه والممارسات الدينيه، ولكن هلا عم نشوف مع استاذ جيم نعمت الله فعلا قد ايه مهمه السوشيال ميديا، قد ايه مهمه كمان قرب المسافات، وقد ايه مهمه السرعه والتطور لحتى فعلا يلاقي اللقاء. وهيدا يلي عم بفتش عليه شجره عائلته يلي كتير صعب يلاقيها من مئات ومئات السنين. هو فعلا عمل ابحاث وشفنا بالصور قد ايه فعلا جهد كتير كبير. وهيدا الكتاب رح نساله هلا: when did you publish this book? When did you have the time to find this time and try to collect this book and put it together in order to show everybody your family from Turza to Detroit? But I'm sure when you find your family, all the people from Turza will find their links as well, because they are linked in one way or another.
Definitely. And like I said, in 2005, when I did the family tree with my son, after that was done, it took me 15 years to get all this together. And it was countless traveling and all that. But once it was done, I published the book in 2020. For most of you that would remember COVID, I received the printed books in my garage in April of 2020. That was just when COVID started. It didn't give me a chance to go visit Detroit and bring the book with me and make a book announcement and all that other stuff. So I resorted to doing things on Facebook. And I started, seeing people that I know, I like them, I make them friends, and they would all they would want to see the book and I would send it to them. They would order it. I made a site to order, and then they would all order it. And here's the funny thing. In the United States, where all these people came in the late 1800s, early 1900s, they never really knew their heritage and they wanted to know.
Wow.
Those are the ones that have bought the book mostly. Like people in Leamington, where I lived and was raised, they didn't really need the book. What do we need the book for? I already know my heritage. I just came like a few years ago. But people in the U.S., people in Venezuela, people in Europe, they've all didn't really know their culture, and this is where they found the book very, very helpful and interesting. And I feel good about that. I feel good that I can bring that to them.
Jim, one question came to my head right now.
Yeah.
What was the urge? What did you think when you started thinking about writing the book? Why did you have this, this intention? What was the motive, the thing that drove you to try to do this research? Why?
Because I wanted to know my heritage, and I have a family now, 4 children and 2 grandchildren. I really want, it's not, the book isn't for me or for you or for anybody our age, because we're going to be gone very soon. The kids are going to be around forever. And when we're gone, they're not going to have anyone to talk to about it, no one to ask questions about their heritage. And it's nice to keep that culture and religion and heritage alive, because I feel that my family definitely needs to know that, because right now they're not married to Lebanese. They're married out of our culture. And my children and my grandchildren, I want them to keep that culture in them. I want them to enjoy where they came from, to know where they came from. And I think that's the biggest reason. There's a lot of other reasons that I developed as I was doing the research, like the people I met. I didn't realize that we were related to St. Charbel.
Oh, wow.
Not, but through marriage. A family in Detroit. I can show you one of them right
Yeah,
now,
quickly.
if I may.
Yes,
This
go ahead.
is really nice because it's a story. It's my favorite story of what I found in Detroit. Here's a family that's related to my great grandmother. The oldest person on the left here, she's related. And here's the family tree that I found where she's here and she's related by marriage to St. Charbel. And this is the lady that I talked to when I was there. And the reason I did that is because my daughter had, had problems with health. She had cancer like 3 times. And the doctors told her when she got married that you really can't have any kids. We're going to have to implant them and everything. But it came time to
We can
implant
move
the
on with
embryo.
the photos, okay?
Sure. I just wanted to show the picture of my
Yeah.
grandchild because he's a miracle from St. Charbel. We prayed to St. Charbel every day so that my daughter could be healthy and everything would go good. So when she went to implant this embryo, the doctor said, we can't do it. It's impossible. And she said, why? Well, I said, you're already pregnant. And this is something that came from St. Charbel that we believe in. And now every 22nd of the month, my wife and my daughter go to the church, St. Charbel in Windsor, and they to light a candle, make a donation, and they come back home. And this is something that we're not going to finish. We're going to do it for the rest of our lives.
Well, that's impressive. I'm going to translate it just briefly. We don't want to waste
Sure.
more time and use our time really wisely. اخوتي الاحبه ومشاهدينا الكرام، يعني هالكتاب اللي كتبه جيم لحتى بحنينه لضيعته ترزا، فعلا لقينا انه في ارتباط كتير كبير للعيال، وحتى في قرابه مع القديس شربيل العظيم اللبناني من شمال لبنان من بقعة كفرة. واكيد بنته الله يخلي له اياها كان عندها كمان مرض السرطان، وشفيت بشفاعة مار شربيل يلي لاحظوا انه في قرابة بعائلته مع مار شربيل، وطبيعي ترزا وبقى كفر هن قراب من بعض كتير. وفعلا هيدا الشيء ترجمه مار شربيل بشفاعته لحتى يشفي بنته، ومن هيدا الوقت هن بيكرسوا كل 22 من الشهر وبيجوا عدايرنا وعريتنا مار شربيل لحتى فعلا يكونوا عم بيردوا الشكر مثل ما الرب يسوع طلب من البرص العشرة انه يجوا ويردوا المجد لله والشكر. كمان هن عم بيعملوا هيدا الشيء ليجوا عداير ورعية مار شربيل. Jim, of course, people don't realize that. People that don't get this book, they should get it, especially people from the north. They don't know that these trees or family trees, they can find their relatives, their heritage in there too. So they are invited as well to thank you, but also to see this book and get it, to have this book and look deep down in this book and try also, like you did, to find their heritage, especially people from the north, because we know that all the families in the north are related in one way or another. This is the history of Maronites and Christians in the north. We know how much they are related and interrelated. Tell us more about that.
Well, something that that came up when I asked questions in Lebanon. Well, everybody's related to everybody. Why is that? Well, because we all married our cousins, and the reason for that was, like my dad would say, we have work the next day. You want to get married to a girl in another village somewhere? No, you go get married to your cousin. We'll get back to work the next day, and everybody will be happy. And that's how I think everything gets started, where everyone is related to everybody. That's, I think, the biggest reason where if people want to find their heritage, looking in the book will tell them if they're related from people in Terza. But right now, I'm also doing family trees for the surrounding villages, Wadi Anubin, Sirid, Hasrun, Blauza, Mazat and Nahar. All of these villages now, because they're all so closely related, their people in my book are married to them. So I naturally expanded, and I'm about 95% done the surrounding villages. And I want to get them done so that everybody can look at these and say, there I am. I'm related to this person. No, I'm related to that person as well. Oh my God, we're related to everybody.
Yeah.
It's one way of people to do that is by first getting my book, second, contacting me and seeing what I have for their village. I'm making these posters for families so that in the book it doesn't show living people. It just shows those that are deceased and people that came from them. But if people want to see their entire family, I made over 1,000 posters so far of families where it has the grandparents and then all of the children and their descendants, and it has the ancestors. So those I've been busy doing left and right.
Jim, you told me that there was somebody disappointed. He was
Yes.
disappointed. Why was he disappointed?
When the book came out during COVID, I sent it to a relative of mine. He looked at it and he said, Jim, I don't like the book. I said, why? And he said, well, I'm not in it. You took a picture of me and you didn't put it in the book. I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I talked to my son who's a lawyer and he told me I can't put any living people in there, for sake of stealing identity or anything like that. And so, but listen, I'll make it up to you. I went home. I started making a poster. I know I had pictures of everybody and I collected a few more. I made this poster and I sent it to him and he says, Jim, this is amazing. Thank you so much. And I said, no problem, as long as you're happy. And he says, well, I'm going to show it to my family. And he did. And they wanted a copy. And then they showed it to their relatives and they wanted copies of their families. So I ended up now I print about 3 a week, different posters for people. If I don't already have them, I make them and people enjoy them.
Jim, before we move to your future plans, tell us about, or final word about this book, anything you would like to mention before we move to other things.
The book, it has 39 pages of history, culture, religion, of the Maronite people that from the north of Lebanon that we came from. The other 400 pages is basically family trees, all organized by family. So the head of the family, the largest ancestor, the furthest back would be the one family. And then from there, it would show everybody. The living people, of course, aren't shown, but everyone that's deceased is there. There are some stories of legends and stuff, like, for example, a sad story where the Sad family, which is one of my families, basically their sister, they lived in Akkot, which was mostly Muslim at the time, and their sister wanted to, no, she didn't want to, the head of the Muslim regime there wanted to take her, and her brothers didn't want it. So to make the story short, the story, which is a legend, I believe, but they killed him, and then they had to flee, and then they flee to the mountains, and then they settled in the Tirzah region. They turned Catholic so that they would blend in with the people there, and that's one of the stories that I put in the book. I mean, it was there's more to the story, but there's a lot like that. Another one is where people have left in the 1800s to go with the gold rush to South Africa, and my father-in-law's great aunt was one of them, and they never heard from her again. And then what happened is this gentleman from San Diego called me and said, I see your book. It's about Tirzah. My great grandmother was from there. And I'd like to know more. Can I buy the book? I said, sure. And then we got to know each other. I got pictures of his history and all those stuff. It was a little too late because my father-in-law, who wanted to know about this, died about a week before this gentleman contacted me. And but that's all in the book, all those stories, all those relationships.
Couple questions before we move
Sure.
to your future plans. First question, you mentioned 400 pages of family trees, but each page is a book in itself, I'm sure, because each person has a history. And if you tell the stories like the story you just told, there are many stories, many things that really attracted many people to become Christian Catholics as this family. And of course, many histories, many stories that we can hear more and more over and over. They are so impressive, so important to have them. And this is an encouragement for all the families to do the same thing, to do researches, to do these books. Any future plans for this, what do you call it, like expansion of the book, like to tell more, to like, let's say, take every family tree, maybe not you, maybe your kids, maybe the future grandkids will inherit this, your habit, or I would say this profession, to try to do researches on each family tree. And that's not all. Also, the people that find their roots and heritage in this book, they are invited as well to do so.
Yes, definitely. As for my future plans, I've already done Tirzah. There's 38,000 people in that book that's covered in that book that I found almost every one of them. Yeah, that's quite a bit. There's almost the same amount in the surrounding villages, maybe a little bit less because they were smaller than Tirzah. But the idea is that I can publish a book, but that's very expensive and it's hard to do. I did it with Tirzah, but it's hard to do it again. I might try making a book for each one, but I think what people have found that they would enjoy more is the posters that I've made. And when I made these posters, it has everybody in there and it has their family. And that's basically how much they want to know. And just to show you, here's one poster, and it's very extensive of what I have in those posters. So they prefer to have those than to have the book.
Okay.
because the book has the whole village. Well, maybe they only want their family. So, like I said, I've been doing almost 2 or 3 posters a week for people that order these from me. And for the ones like, to give you an idea, a poster would cost $100 that I charge for someone to do it for them because I already have everything on there. But if they purchase the book from me, I'll give them a poster for half price. If they want to buy the book and the poster together, then it'd be a bundle price. So the
Mhm.
book is about $90. The poster is 100. I give it to them for 109. And these are color
Mhm.
posters that they can either hang on their walls, or what I would prefer they do is fold it up and put it away or leave it on the coffee table. Because, and again, another story is just recently, a lady called me and said, Jim, I heard you had a book. I know you had a book. I didn't really need to get it. But now that my mom and dad both died recently, I
Mhm.
have nobody to talk to about questions about our relatives, about our heritage, or anything like that. Can I please purchase a book? Tell me you have some left over. And of course I do, and I'll send one to you. And I can also make you a poster. You can? Of everybody in my family, and she was happy.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
that kind of brings joy to my heart that I can help someone
Mhm.
in finding their roots or their heritage and their culture and their religion.
If you just can move your chair 1 second backwards. In the meantime, what's next for you? We know that you're planning for Wadi Anobin, which is very rich. Mazra'at or Dahr al Ain, maybe, I don't know. Sir'il, Blauza, and other villages. Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, I've been doing research. I did go back to Lebanon and I went to the churches and I got some records that I could find, and more recently interviewed people from there. And again, our church in Windsor, a lot of people are from Siril. I wanted to do them, Mazit and Nahad as well. Hasroun, because my brother-in-law is from Hasroun and he enticed me to do that village. And of course I did, because a lot of the people that came to Windsor many years ago at the late 1800s are from Hasroun. That's what Windsor is made up of, but they don't know it. They're all kind of amalgamated into the English culture, and they kind of forgot their roots. Some of them know it, but a lot of them don't. And that's why I want to work on those particular villages. And everybody is connected in that Holy Valley, the Kadisha Valley, up on the rim where all the villages are, or on the sides of the mountains. And from my house in Lebanon, I could see Sa'il across the valley. And what I do is I can shout loud enough and they can probably hear me. But that's how close we are in Lebanon. And that's why I want to do those villages, to help more people and to find more people. It just gives me something that I enjoy doing.
Mhm.
I like being with people. I like meeting people. And this is one way to do it.
Jim, of course, we have 10 minutes or less, but the question is right this. A lot of people would think that you're doing a promotion of your book, you're making money out of it, but in fact, no. You're losing money on publishing this book, and it's costing you more than the little amount that you're selling it with. But of course, in everything we do, especially when it's not giving us a lot of benefit financially, it's giving us something else. What's the joy? What did you enjoy the most so far from this work, and of course the future work that you're going to do?
Well, I've been blessed with a wonderful career, a wonderful family, and I'm doing well. I'm enjoying my time on this earth, whatever I have left of it. The problem is, I don't want to do this for me. I want to do it for my family that's going to come after me, and all our families that, our future generations. You're right. I'm not making money with this book. I'm probably breaking even, and I spend a lot more time than I would on other things, but it's something you enjoy. And if you enjoy doing something, you're going to do well at it. And that's what I set out to do. Making these posters, I can whip one out in a night or two, but when people look at it, they see a lot of work. I see a lot of love and joy in doing this. And when I discover something new or help people discover their heritage, it just gives me joy. It's a way of feeling good that I enjoy. There's no other way to say it,
Mhm.
uh, but I enjoy doing this. So money is not a problem
Yeah.
for me to.
As we all know, there's bad and good times. There's joy and there's sadness. And I'm sure there's something that make you sad. What do you not like about everything that you have? Maybe the information, maybe the research itself, maybe the time, as you mentioned, and maybe sad stories. What you don't like?
For me, I enjoyed meeting people all over the world. And it was exciting to know all these people and get information from them and talk to them and get to know them. The only problem is they don't last long. I find that after a couple of years, I hear of someone dying or there's an obituary that was out, and I said, "Oh my God, I was just talking to them," and I feel bad about, not going back and talking to them again and giving them a copy of my book or enjoying their company. I think that's the biggest people. These people tell me their family history and it's close to what mine is, and I enjoy that. But the sad part is they're not around for forever. And I'm hoping that, people will understand this and they'll get a copy of my book. They'll remember their ancestors and they won't forget where they came from. I think that's the biggest thing. That's what makes me sad is, um, not having these people around. And there's too many of them. I'm just lost my mom and dad. I know what that feels like. My children, I want to spend more time with them. I want to spend every moment with them. But I think by doing this project, they will understand that I did this for them so that they'll know where they came from. And, the farther you can go back, you could, it makes it's just people will know in the future
Yeah, five
what
more
we went through.
minutes. My next question for you. You shared a story, but I would like you to share with us a
Sure.
story that you really liked so much. I know that the information is rich and you did a big hustle to get this information. You can tell us briefly about that, but a story that really interests you a lot. It's one of the top stories you think in the book.
Um, is that the story about my grandmother?
You could, you could share with us.
Yes. Yes. My grandmother was about 10 years old when she got married.
Mhm,
My great grandmother was 10 years old when she got married. Her husband was like four times her age.
mhm,
It was during 1910, where in 1910, there was famine, there was locusts that took away all the food. There was nothing that people could do. People were dying of starvation, and she had to go up the mountain and back down to the other side to the Bekaa Valley to forage for food, whatever they could find after everything was harvested. And she came back, but then she came back, said, "I'm going to do something for my family." Went to Detroit to make some money. She would send some letters back with money in it. My grandfather would take a look at it and take the money out, use it to take care of the kids. Here's a letter from your mom. And what else could you do? My grandfather didn't even open the letters. He just put them in a drawer. And then when he died in 1996, my brother-in-law went to finish off his affairs, found these letters, and I looked at them and I said, "Oh my God, that's where Aunt Susan went to Detroit." And that's where my research started and kept on going. But it's a story that I believe is just wonderful. Um, I hope that was the story I told you.
Yes, it is. Actually, we still have 3 minutes to go, but this question, I have to ask you this question.
Yes.
This project that you did and this passion, why it is so important nowadays in the current times, and what do you tell the next generation, the future people that will take over? What should they do?
Well, they should definitely keep this information handy. They should, if they find anything else, add to it. Keep looking for your heritage. If you haven't found your heritage, contact someone like me that can help you, but continue doing that because it's for our families. I have 4 children, and like I said, and 2 grandchildren, and I'm going to put up a picture of my children because it's important as I see this. This is what I live for. This is what everyone lives for, is to have a family that would continue on, continue our culture, continue our heritage, because again, they married outside of our culture, and I don't want them to lose it, especially the grandchildren. I want them to enjoy that culture. And those are my children, and that's what I want to do for them. Yeah, it's my passion. It's what I'm doing it for them. I'm not doing it for me. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not doing it for our ancestors. I'm doing it for the future generation
For
to
everybody.
continue
For everybody.
forever.
One
Definitely.
final question in a minute. What do you tell
Mhm.
right now the people from the south, from the north, also from maybe the Mount of Lebanon, from Bekaa, and from all over Lebanon that are spread all around the world? What should they do? What's your invitation for them to do for their heritage to keep it?
Definitely talk to your elders before they die. Interview them, put it on video, put it on, write it down, enjoy a conversation with them, because it's probably the only time you're going to get that information. Otherwise, you're going to have to talk to people like me that have been all over, that have talked to many people, that have made a book about our heritage, that is in the process of doing books for other towns around us and other villages in the country of Lebanon, because it's not easy to get records from there. We don't really have a good record system. They don't have like a city hall you can go to and search a record back. You basically have to go to the church, get baptism records, get marriage records, get death records, and that's what they're going to find about their heritage and know more about it. Be a part of a culture like, for example, in Leamington, we have the Leamington Lebanese Club. That's a place that everybody goes to find out more. We also have a shrine there that's very similar to the one in Harissa in Lebanon, and that's what brings people together. Every year we have a festival in August, and I'm looking forward to the one this year. I go and I contribute there by volunteering my time because I think it's important, and I meet a lot of people. It's not just serving, solids or anything else that you're making, but it's like talking to people and finding out where they're from, and do you know who your grandfather or your great grandfather or where you came from, the village that you came from. I invite them to buy my book, to get a poster if I've already made it, or I can make one for their family. Go searching, asking. Um, yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Jim. Jim Nehmetallah from Tours in Leamington, Canada. Thank you for being with us. I would tell you right now, happy feast of St. Anthony of Padua. And of course, I would anticipate on Sunday and tell you happy Father's Day. May God bless your family and yourself and keep going the best of success and holiness. Thank you for being with us.
thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for this time,
Thank you
especially
so
during
much.
Father's Day. You have a
Thank you so
wonderful
much. Take care.
day. Bye.
Thank you everyone for being with us in this episode of Live with Jesus. It was called Roots and Heritage. Don't forget to keep your roots and heritage and transmit it to your kids and grandkids because it's our originality and we have to keep it. God bless you. We'll see you next week, God will. Until then, happy feast of St. Anthony of Padua. And once again, last week was the Pentecost. Happy Pentecost. We'll see you next week, God will. Until then, take care. Bye-bye for now.